Dr. Long's book, God and the Afterlife, the groundbreaking new evidence for God and near-death experience, released in 2016, details how consistent people's descriptions of God are among those who have near-death experiences. As we continue our interview, Dr. Jeffrey Long explains his findings.
Understand that when God is encountered, you're essentially always in a near-death experience in that unearthly realm. It's not a physical, material realm like we're familiar with on Earth. So not surprisingly, there is some similarities and some differences in how God appears. By far the most common appearance of God that's described is light. Not a light like we know on Earth, but a beautiful light that almost seems to have personality, substance. And probably the other most common descriptor about God is that overwhelming sense of love. It's love that is typically described as something they couldn't know on Earth. It's far beyond love, again, that's even possible on Earth. I mean, it's absolutely amazing as near-death experiencers describe over and over. I was loved completely, through and through, entirely, for my faults, for everything that I am. God loved me. So we see that overwhelmingly. There's often a sense of God's overwhelming ability to create, overwhelming knowledge, seemingly knowledge far beyond anything that could be possible on Earth, literally a universal knowledge. So these are some of the more common descriptors of God, although, again, since God is in a non-material, heavenly realm, God can appear in a variety of different ways, probably for what's best for each particular near-death experiencer. But those are the very common things that are described about God.
It's incredible.
It's vegan.
Vegan, real lady and gentleman.
It's vegan. Never forget that.
Dr. Long tells us how he has observed individuals who have had near-death experiences undergo personal transformations in their lives.
To summarize it succinctly, people change, and often dramatically, but the change may take years. Some of the more common of what we call in the scholarly literature after effects, changes after the near-death experience, include, well, obviously an increased belief in an afterlife. No surprise from the person having a near-death experience. They know what lies beyond death's door. It's a beautiful, wonderful afterlife, nothing to fear. And so, of course, a decreased fear of death, again, no surprise. They may be afraid of the dying process, but they know, again, there's an afterlife, a wonderful afterlife that is for all of us. Near-death experiencers change in a way that they become less materialistic. Very noticeably, they become much more loving. We asked a direct survey question about the degree of compassion that they had prior to their near-death experience and at the time they shared it with us, an average of about 15 years later. And there's almost a threefold increase in the survey response of them saying they become greatly compassionate, greatly loving, and these changes continue often for decades. So while it may take a little bit of time to fully integrate that experience, when it's fully integrated, they can be changed substantially, far more loving, far more, in a very real way, spiritually beautiful people.
Dr. Long's research examines how people approach life, death, spirituality, and their understanding of God.
Certainly people having near-death experiences, by their own personal experience, they get it. They understand that there's an afterlife. Half or more understand that there's a bigger picture, that God, something that's, if you will, a part of order and love, and sort of puts it all together in the afterlife in a very positive way. But people that read about near-death experiences and understand them, and certainly me as a researcher of near-death experiences, It can change people that are aware of near-death experiences dramatically. It's changed me. It's changed my wife, who's worked very, very hard at studying near-death experiences along with me. So you tend to, if you really understand near-death experiences, incorporate those values that near-death experiencers have as they go on living their life. When you read about over and over about that love, that compassion, the significance, the meaning of our earthly life, it's extremely important. We're here for a reason, even though life can be difficult. Ultimately, the other values that near-death experiencers commonly describe is that unity, that oneness of all. It's a very common awareness people having a near-death experience have in heaven. They feel that connection, that unity, what they often describe as a oneness. And maybe that's not so surprising. Love seems to be the dominant force in the universe, and a dictionary definition of love right off the bat is a connection. Well, this seems to be a manifestation of love in heaven that is, again, far beyond anything we could know or be aware of in earth. That we are all one, we are all connected, we are all one, unified in heaven, again, in a very beautiful and wonderful way.
Vegan, inner strength and physical power.
Introspective viewers, let's pause to give thanks for all the beautiful reminders of our true home in heaven. We'll be right back here on Supreme Master Television.
Ruby the Labrador, pianist playing a Rachmaninoff duet.
As death is an inevitable destiny for all of us, and a source of fear for many, we enjoyed hearing Dr. Long's viewpoints on the subject.
I'm a physician, a radiation oncology doctor. I've helped many, many people with cancer throughout my 37 years of medical practice. So yes, I've been with people as they approach the end of their life. Some people ultimately will succumb from their disease. And yet, what we have with near-death experience, often not only just the patient can be inspired by near-death experiences and realize that even when their earthly life ends, it's literally only the beginning of a life far, far better than what they could have imagined in their earthly life. And that's profoundly reassuring for the friends, family, the loved ones of the people that are ultimately going to die of cancer. Again, understanding near-death experience, the reality of an afterlife, the reality that we're overwhelmingly loved by God, that we're all going to be together again in that heaven, in a beautiful, wonderful place, is absolutely inspirational, absolutely helps people to adapt to end-of-life concerns. And it's a profoundly beautiful message that I've literally had the honor to share over my years of doing this, over 25 years of studying near-death experience. It's been an honor and a privilege to share that very important message with literally tens of millions of people. And in fact, near-death experience and its very consistent message about an afterlife and about God is, in my opinion, the most profoundly positive message that is even conceivable for all of humanity.
Dr. Long has a wish for humanity.
I would wish that humanity could come to understand what people that have near-death experiences do, to really grasp that profound spiritual awareness that our earthly life is profoundly meaningful and significant, that love rules the universe, that love and how we treat each other with the compassion that we treat each other here on earth is far more important than you might possibly imagine. Even small acts of love can ripple through other people's lives in a way that are just amazing. And certainly to have that awareness, that deep knowledge, that knowing that at the end of our life, at the end of our loved one's life, life goes on, a conscious existence far greater, far better than anything we've ever experienced. Again, a profoundly positive message of hope and inspiration for all of us. If anybody wants to read for themselves near-death experiences, just go to my website, nderf.org. That's the Near-Death Experience Research Foundation. Over 4,000 near-death experiences posted in over 30 different languages. All you have to do is start reading them, and you can quickly realize the depth of the amazing everything that I've said here, and far more will be available there. In fact, if you go to that website and go up to experiences and drop down the drop-down tab to exceptional experiences, I'm pretty sure if you literally read just 10 of the exceptional near-death experiences, it would have the potential to change your life in a very positive way, to understand near-death experiences from your own personal journey of exploring and reading what people have shared.